The envelope arrived on a Tuesday, cream-colored and thick, with my mother's perfect cursive spelling out my name like a summons. Inside, an invitation to Roman's engagement party. At the bottom, in Trisha's unmistakable handwriting, "Big family surprise planned. Don't miss it." My stomach dropped. Nothing good ever came from my mother's surprises. My name is Skylar, and I've been keeping my family's biggest secret for 11 years. The McDonald family lake house, the crown jewel of our summers, the backdrop for every holiday photo, the place where 4 generations gathered to pretend we actually liked each other, should have been foreclosed on in 2013. Would have been if I hadn't quietly stepped in and saved it. Not that anyone knows, not that anyone ever asked. I stared at the invitation while my coffee went cold. The lake house stared back at me from the photo on my kitchen counter. Weathered cedar shingles, wrap-around porch, the old dock stretching into crystal water. 60 years of McDonald memories, and I was the only one who'd actually fought to preserve them. The phone rang. Sawyer's name lit up the screen. "Please tell me you're not spiraling about that invitation," she said without preamble. "I'm not spiraling. You're spiraling. I can hear it in your voice. What's the worst that could happen?" I laughed, but it came out bitter. "You want the list alphabetically or chronologically?" "Sky, they can't hurt you anymore. You're 34. You have your own life, your own—" "They can always hurt me." The words slipped out before I could stop them. "That's what family does best." Sawyer went quiet. She'd watched the McDonald family dynamics for years, seen how my parents' golden child worship of Roman left me perpetually invisible. How I'd learned to anticipate their needs, solve their problems, clean up their messes, all while they looked right through me. "What kind of surprise do you think it is?" she finally asked. I already knew. Deep in my bones, I knew. "Something to do with the house." The house. God, where do I even start? Picture this. 2013, the height of Dad's midlife crisis. He'd invested the family savings in some cryptocurrency scheme that crashed harder than the Hindenburg. Mom was having daily meltdowns about losing our legacy, while Roman, 24 and fresh out of college, was planning a European backpacking trip with his trust fund money. Nobody asked me to fix it. Nobody even told me how bad things were. I found out by accident when I stopped by to drop off groceries and overheard Dad on the phone with the bank. Foreclosure proceedings. 60 days. I don't know what we're going to do. That night, I lay awake, calculating. My savings account, built from years of living below my means while my family spent like lottery winners. My inheritance from Grandma McDonald, the one person who'd ever really seen me. The promotion I'd just gotten at work. I could do it. I could save the house, but I was smart enough to protect myself. The next morning, I called a lawyer. "I want to buy the property outright," I told him, "but I want my family to be able to use it as long as they maintain it and respect the rules." Like a trust? Like a gift with conditions they'll never bother to read. The paperwork was elegant in its simplicity. I bought the house, cleared the debt, and set up an arrangement that let my parents think they were still in charge while I quietly handled the real responsibilities. Property taxes, insurance, major repairs, winterization, all me, all invisible. For 11 years, I've been the ghost in the machine. When the roof needed replacing after that bad storm in 2018, I handled it. When the septic system failed last summer, I handled it. When Roman threw that party in 2020 and his drunk friends put a hole through the living room wall, I handled it. And every summer, every holiday, Every family gathering, they all showed up like nothing had changed, like the house just magically maintained itself, like their perfect lake house paradise existed without effort or sacrifice. Roman would bring his latest girlfriend and regale her with stories about our family legacy. Mom would post Instagram photos of herself on the dock with captions about blessed family traditions. Dad would grill burgers and talk about teaching his grandkids to fish from the same pier where he'd learned. None of them ever said thank you. None of them ever asked how the bills got paid. I folded the invitation and set it on the counter. Whatever surprise they had planned, whatever new way they'd found to take me for granted, I was done pretending it didn't hurt. The lake house was mine. Legally, financially, completely mine. Maybe it was time they learned that. The engagement party was everything I expected. And worse, Roman had rented the country club's lakeside pavilion, complete with string lights and a champagne fountain that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. Peyton looked stunning in a flowing blue dress that matched her eyes, though she kept fidgeting with her engagement ring like it didn't quite fit. "Skylar!" Mom's voice cut through the crowd like nails on a chalkboard. She swept toward me in a coral dress that screamed mother of the groom, her smile sharp enough to cut glass. "You made it! I wasn't sure you'd come." "Wouldn't miss it," I said, accepting her air kiss that smelled like expensive perfume and passive aggression. "Well, you look nice." Her eyes swept over my simple black dress with barely concealed disappointment. Very understated. Before I could respond, Roman appeared with Peyton in tow. My little brother had grown into the kind of man who commanded attention without trying. Tall, broad-shouldered, with Dad's easy smile and Mom's gift for making everything about him. "Sky, there's my favorite sister." He pulled me into a bear hug that felt genuine, which somehow made everything worse. "Your only sister," I reminded him. "Details." He grinned and turned to Peyton. "Babe, you remember Skylar?" "Of course." Peyton's smile was warmer than Mom's, but I caught something flickering in her expression. "Worry?" "It's so good to see you again." "Congratulations," I said. "When's the big day?" "Next spring," Roman said. "We're thinking about having the reception at the lake house. Can you imagine? Dancing on the back lawn, ceremony by the water." My chest tightened. "That sounds lovely. Oh, speaking of the house," Mom interjected, her voice taking on that sing-song quality that always meant trouble. "We should probably talk about your involvement there." "My involvement?" "Well, you do spend an awful lot of time there, almost like you think it's yours." She laughed, but her eyes stayed cold. "Some people might find that a bit presumptuous." The words hit like a slap. Around us, conversations continued, glasses clinked, people laughed, normal party sounds while my mother casually gutted me in public. "I just like to help," I managed. "Of course you do, sweetheart. You've always been so helpful." The way she said it made helpful sound like a character flaw. Sawyer materialized at my elbow like she had radar for my distress. "Trisha, what a beautiful party. You must be so proud." "Oh, we are. Roman's found such a wonderful girl." Mom beamed at Peyton, who had gone slightly pale. "They're going to have the most beautiful life together." "I need some air," I said quietly. Sawyer steered me toward the terrace. Behind us I heard Mom launching into the story of Roman's proposal, an elaborate scavenger hunt that ended at the lake house dock, naturally. "Breathe," Sawyer said once we were outside. Just breathe. Did you hear what she said? Presumptuous, like I'm some kind of squatter. She's baiting you. You know that, right? I did know. Mom had perfected the art of the public dig, comments designed to wound while maintaining plausible deniability. If I called her out, I'd be the one overreacting. Skylar? Peyton had followed us outside. She glanced back at the party, then stepped closer. Can I ask you something? Sure. This whole night. It feels planned, like really planned. Roman's been weird all week, and your parents keep exchanging these looks. She twisted her ring again. Is something going on? My stomach dropped. What kind of something? I don't know, but Roman mentioned something about a family announcement, and your mom keeps talking about new chapters and passing things down. Peyton's voice dropped. I'm probably being paranoid, but... You're not paranoid, Sawyer said grimly. Through the glass doors, I could see the party in full swing. Dad was working the crowd with his politician's smile. Roman was holding court near the bar, and Mom was moving through the guests like a shark scenting blood. Ladies and gentlemen, Mom's voice suddenly boomed through the sound system. If I could have everyone's attention for just a moment. The terrace went quiet. Through the windows, I watched the crowd turn toward the small stage where Mom stood with a microphone, practically glowing with anticipation. We have a very special announcement to make tonight, she continued, her voice carrying that theatrical quality she used for maximum drama. Stephen, Roman, could you join me up here? Dad and Roman moved through the crowd. Roman looked confused but pleased. Dad just looked tired. This is it, Peyton whispered. Whatever it is, this is it! My hands started shaking. 11 years of secrets, 11 years of sacrifice, 11 years of being invisible while they played happy family with my money, my house, my life. Mom raised the microphone again, her smile brilliant and terrible. Tonight, we're not just celebrating Roman and Peyton's engagement. We're also celebrating a very special gift. Stephen and I have decided to give Roman and Peyton the most wonderful wedding gift, Mom announced, her voice carrying across the silent pavilion. We're giving them the lake house. The crowd erupted in gasps and applause. Someone whistled. I heard Aunt Patricia exclaim, "Oh my goodness!" from somewhere near the champagne fountain. Roman's face lit up like Christmas morning. Are you serious? Mom, Dad, this is... wow! I don't know what to say. Say you'll take good care of it, Dad said, clapping him on the shoulder. 4 generations of McDonald's have made memories there. We absolutely will, Peyton said, though she looked stunned. This is so generous. I can't believe... Now, of course, Mom interrupted, her smile turning razor sharp. Skylar spends so much time there. She might feel a bit displaced, but I'm sure Roman won't mind if she wants to rent it occasionally. For a fair price, naturally. The laughter that followed felt like acid in my veins. Rent it. Rent my own house. The house I'd saved, maintained and paid for while they all played pretend. That's so sweet of you to think of Skylar, someone called out. More laughter rippled through the crowd. I stood frozen on the terrace, watching my family's performance through the glass. 11 years of sacrifice reduced to a punchline. 11 years of being invisible. And now I was the comic relief. Sky. Sawyer's voice seemed to come from underwater. Sky, you need to... I need to what? The words came out steady, which surprised me. Stand there and smile while they give away my house? Peyton spun around. Your house? What do you mean your house? Inside, Roman was still basking in congratulations. Mom was telling someone about their generous hearts and family legacy. Dad was nodding along like he actually believed it. My hands had stopped shaking. Something cold and clear was settling over me, like ice forming on a lake. Skylar, Peyton pressed. What did you mean? I looked at her, really looked at her. Sweet Peyton, who was about to marry into this circus without knowing the truth, who was standing there grateful for a gift that wasn't theirs to give. I meant exactly what I said. I walked back into the pavilion. The crowd was still buzzing with excitement, people clustering around Roman and my parents. I moved through them like a ghost, heading straight for the stage. Excuse me, I said, reaching for the microphone. Mom's smile faltered. Skylar, what are you— I need to borrow this for a minute. I took the microphone from her suddenly slack grip. The feedback squeal made everyone wince and turn toward me. The pavilion went dead quiet. 60-some faces stared at me expectantly, probably thinking I was about to give some touching speech about family and tradition. Hi, everyone, I said, my voice carrying clearly through the sound system. I'm Skylar, for those who don't know me, Roman's sister. A few polite smiles. Roman looked confused but encouraging, like he thought I was about to toast him. I just wanted to clarify something about this generous gift my parents just announced. I paused, looking directly at Mom. Her face had gone pale. The thing is, they can't actually give Roman the lake house. Murmurs started up. Dad stepped forward. Skylar, what are you— They can't give it to him because they don't own it. My voice stayed calm, conversational even. I do. The murmurs turned to gasps. Roman's smile disappeared. I bought the house in 2013 when Mom and Dad were about to lose it to foreclosure. Paid off their debts, handled the transfer, and I've been maintaining it ever since. Property taxes, insurance, repairs. All me. For 11 years. That's not— Mom started. I have the deed in my purse if anyone wants to see it. I reached into my bag and pulled out the folded documents I'd brought, just in case. Along with 11 years of receipts, bank statements and maintenance records, the silence was deafening. Roman stood frozen on the stage, his face cycling through confusion, disbelief, and something that might have been horror. So while I appreciate the thought, I continued, they can't give Roman something that's already mine, though I suppose if he wants to rent it occasionally, we could discuss fair market rates. I handed the microphone back to Mom, whose mouth was opening and closing like a fish. Congratulations on your engagement, Roman. Peyton, you look beautiful tonight. I turned to walk away, but Mom's voice stopped me. How dare you? Her words were barely a whisper, but the microphone picked them up. How dare you embarrass this family? Embarrass your brother on his special night? I turned back. The crowd was riveted, phones probably already recording. Embarrass the family? I asked. Mom, you just tried to give away my house in front of 60 people. If anyone should be embarrassed, it's not me. Roman finally found his voice. Sky, this has to be some kind of mistake. The house has been in our family for— It still is in our family, Roman. It's just in my name now. Has been for over a decade. The crowd was buzzing like a disturbed beehive. I could see Aunt Patricia near the back, her eyes wide with what looked like vindication rather than shock. Dad stepped up to the microphone. Everyone, I think there's been a misunderstanding. No misunderstanding, Dad. Just 11 years of you assuming someone else would handle your problems while you took credit for the solution. I walked toward the exit, my legs somehow steady despite the earthquake I'd just triggered. Behind me, voices erupted. Questions, accusations, demands for explanation. Sawyer caught up with me in the parking lot. "Holy shit, Sky, you actually did it!" "Yeah." I fumbled for my car keys. "I actually did it." "How do you feel?" I thought about it as I unlocked my car. How did I feel? Terrified, exhilarated, sick, powerful. "Ask me tomorrow," I said. My phone started ringing before I even made it home. Roman's name flashed on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. Then it rang again. And again. By the time I pulled into my driveway, I had 7 missed calls and a string of increasingly frantic texts. "Sky, what the hell just happened?" "Call me back now." "This is insane. We need to talk." "Mom is losing her shit. Dad won't even speak." I poured myself a glass of wine and sat on my couch, staring at my phone. Part of me wanted to call him back, to explain, to somehow make this easier. But the bigger part, the part that had been silent for 11 years, was done explaining. The doorbell rang at 9:30. Through the peephole, I could see Roman pacing on my front step, running his hands through his hair. I opened the door. "Hey, hey!" His voice cracked. "Hey, Sky, you just nuked our entire family at my engagement party and you say, 'Hey.' Come in. We should probably talk." He followed me to the living room but didn't sit down, just stood there staring at me like I'd grown a second head. "Is it true?" he asked finally. "Do you really own the house?" I pulled the deed from my purse and handed it to him. He unfolded it with shaking hands, his eyes scanning the legal language. "Jesus Christ!" He sank into my armchair. "This is dated 2013. You've owned it for 11 years. 11 years, 3 months, and 16 days. Why didn't you tell us?" "When? When would have been a good time, Roman? During one of your stories about our family legacy? While Mom was posting Instagram photos of herself on my dock? While Dad was planning to teach his future grandkids to fish from my pier?" Roman's face flushed. "It's not like that. It's exactly like that. You all treated that house like it was yours while I paid every bill, handled every repair, and made sure you had somewhere to make your precious memories. But why? Why would you do that and not tell us?" The question hung in the air. Why had I done it? Why had I spent 11 years being invisible, letting them take credit for my sacrifice? "Because I loved you," I said simply. "All of you. Even when you didn't see me, even when you took me for granted, I loved you enough to protect what mattered to you." Roman's eyes filled with tears. "Sky, I had no idea. If I'd known, what? You would have thanked me? You would have helped with the expenses? Or would you have just found a way to make it about you, like everything else?" "That's not fair. Fair." I laughed, but it came out bitter. "Roman, do you know what I've spent on that house? Not just the initial purchase, but maintenance, taxes, insurance, repairs. Over $400,000. While you were backpacking through Europe and buying sports cars and planning elaborate proposals." He went quiet. Outside, a car door slammed. Through my front window, I could see Mom marching up my walkway, Dad trailing behind her, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. "They're here," I said. Roman looked toward the window. "Sky, maybe we should—" The doorbell rang, followed immediately by aggressive knocking. "Skylar Marie McDonald, you open this door right now." Mom's voice carried through the wood. I opened the door to find her red-faced and shaking with rage. Dad stood behind her, his hands shoved deep in his pockets. "How could you do this to us?" she demanded, pushing past me into the house. "How could you humiliate your family like that?" "I told the truth, Mom. That's all I did." "The truth?" She whirled around. "The truth is that you're a selfish, vindictive little girl who couldn't stand seeing her brother happy." "Trisha," Dad said quietly, "maybe we should calm down and—" "Don't you dare tell me to calm down, Stephen. Our son's engagement party is ruined. Our friends think we're liars. Patricia is probably calling everyone in the family right now, spreading this around like wildfire." "Good," I said. "Maybe it's time everyone knew the truth." Mom's face went white. "What is that supposed to mean?" "It means I'm tired of keeping secrets, tired of protecting people who don't protect me, tired of being the family ghost who fixes everything while you take the credit." "We never asked you to." "You never asked me anything!" The words exploded out of me. "You never asked if I was okay with you nearly losing the house. You never asked if I could afford to save it. You never asked how I felt watching you give it away to Roman like it was yours to give." Roman stood up. "Sky, I don't want the house. Not like this. If I'd known." "But you didn't know, did you? None of you bothered to ask how the bills got paid or who handled the repairs. You just assumed it was magic." Dad finally spoke up. "Skylar, we're grateful for what you did. We just wish you'd told us." "Would it have mattered? Would you have treated me differently? Or would you have just found a way to make me feel guilty for bringing it up?" The silence stretched between us. Mom was staring at me like I was a stranger. "I want everyone out of the house by the end of the month," I said quietly. "What?" Roman's voice was barely a whisper. "You heard me. 30 days to remove your belongings. All of you." "You can't be serious," Mom said. "That house has been in our family for 60 years. And now it's in my name. My house, my rules." "Skylar," Dad said, his voice pleading. "This is your family. We can work this out." "No, Dad, we can't. Because this isn't about the house. This is about 11 years of being invisible while you all played happy family with my money. This is about tonight, when Mom thought it would be funny to suggest I could rent my own house." I walked to the front door and opened it. 30 days, I repeated. "And if anyone tries to damage the property or remove anything that's not clearly personal belongings, I'll call the police." They filed out in stunned silence. Roman was the last to leave, pausing in the doorway. "Sky, I'm sorry. I really am." "I know you are, Roman. But sorry doesn't fix 11 years. I closed the door and leaned against it, my heart pounding. Through the window, I watched them get into their cars and drive away. My phone buzzed with a text from Sawyer. "How are you holding up?" I typed back. "Ask me in 30 days. The next morning brought a text from Aunt Patricia. "Coffee? We need to talk." I found her at our usual cafe, already nursing what looked like her second espresso. Patricia was Mom's older sister, but where Mom was all sharp edges and calculated drama, Patricia had always been more direct. Blunt, even. "Well," she said as I sat down, "that was quite a show last night." "I'm sure the whole family's talking about it." "Oh, honey, they're doing more than talking. Your mother called me at 6 a.m., practically hyperventilating." Patricia leaned forward. "But here's the thing. I'm not surprised." "You're not?" "Skylar, I've watched your family dynamics for years. I've seen how they treat you, how they take you for granted. What surprises me is that it took you this long to snap. The barista called my name. I retrieved my latte, grateful for the momentary distraction. There's something else, Patricia said when I sat back down. Something your mother doesn't want anyone to know. What do you mean? That financial crisis in 2013. It wasn't just bad investments. Tricia had been dipping into your grandmother's trust fund for years. Small amounts at first, then bigger ones. She was supposed to be managing it for the family, but she was using it like her personal piggy bank. My coffee suddenly tasted like ash. Are you serious? Dead serious. I have the bank statements to prove it. She's been covering it up ever since, moving money around, hoping no one would notice. Does Dad know? I doubt it. Stephen's always been willfully blind when it comes to your mother's creative accounting. My phone buzzed. Roman's name appeared on the screen. That's probably him wanting to negotiate, Patricia said, nodding at my phone. I answered. What's up, Roman? Sky, we need to talk. Can you meet me at the house? There are some things we need to figure out. Like what? Like how we're going to split this fairly. The house should belong to the whole family, not just you. I looked at Patricia, who was shaking her head vigorously. Roman, I bought the house, with my money. It's not a family asset to be split. But it's been our family home for decades. You can't just kick us out because you have some paperwork. I can, actually. That's exactly what ownership means. This is insane, Sky. You're tearing apart our family over money. I'm not tearing apart anything. I'm just done pretending that my sacrifice doesn't matter. I hung up and looked at Patricia. He wants to negotiate. Of course he does. Roman's never been told no in his entire life. She pulled out her phone. But before you make any decisions, you should see this. She showed me a Facebook post from one of Roman's friends. Can't believe what happened at Roman's party last night. His sister is trying to steal their family house. Some people have no shame. The comments were brutal. People calling me greedy, selfish, a family destroyer. Someone had even shared a photo of me from the party with the caption, "This is what entitlement looks like." It gets worse, Patricia said, scrolling down. Your mother's been busy this morning. She showed me Mom's post. Heartbroken by recent family events. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who hurt you most, praying for healing and forgiveness. The comments were full of support for Mom, people offering prayers and asking what happened. She was playing the victim perfectly. She's good at this, I said. She's had years of practice, but Skylar, you need to know, I'm on your side. What you did took courage. My phone rang again. This time it was Peyton. Skylar, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I'm at the house with Roman and there's a problem. What kind of problem? He's loading furniture into a truck. Says he's taking his share before you can stop him. I was already standing up. I'll be right there. The drive to the lake house took 20 minutes that felt like hours. When I pulled into the driveway, I found Roman's truck backed up to the front porch, loaded with furniture. He was carrying out the antique dining room table, the one that had belonged to my great-grandmother. What the hell are you doing? I called out. Taking what's mine, he said, not stopping. This stuff has been in our family for generations. Put it back, Roman. No? You want to play hardball? Fine, but I'm not leaving empty-handed. Peyton stood on the porch, wringing her hands. I tried to stop him, but he won't listen. I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. What are you doing? Roman demanded. Calling the police. You're stealing from my property. You wouldn't. Try me." He stared at me for a long moment, then slowly set down the table. "You've really changed, Sky. This isn't who you used to be. You're right. I used to be someone who let people walk all over her. I'm not that person anymore." A police cruiser pulled into the driveway. Officer Martinez got out, looking between us with the weary expression of someone who'd dealt with family disputes before. "What's the situation here?" he asked. I showed him the deed and explained the situation. Roman tried to argue that the furniture was family heirlooms, but the officer was clear. Without proof of ownership, everything in the house belonged to me. "I'm going to need you to put everything back," Officer Martinez told Roman. "This is ridiculous," Roman muttered, but he started unloading the truck. When he finished, he turned to me. "You know what, Sky? Keep it all. Keep the house, keep the furniture, keep your precious victory. But don't expect to have a family when this is over." He got in his truck and drove away, leaving Peyton standing on the porch. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "He's not handling this well." "Are you okay?" She nodded, but her eyes were red. I never expected our engagement to start like this. Peyton, can I ask you something? Did you know about their financial problems in 2013? No. Roman never mentioned anything like that. She paused. But there have been other things, little things that didn't add up, like how they always seemed to have money for trips and parties, but Roman mentioned they couldn't afford to fix the roof a few years ago. Because I fixed the roof. Oh. Understanding dawned in her eyes. "Oh, Skylar, how long has this been going on?" 11 years, she sat down on the porch steps. "No wonder you're angry." "I'm not just angry, Peyton. I'm done. Done being invisible. Done being taken for granted. Done pretending that love means letting people use you." She nodded slowly. "For what it's worth, I think you're brave. What you did last night, it took guts." "Thanks. That means more than you know." As she walked to her car, I stood on the porch of my house. Really, my house, and looked out at the lake. The water was calm, reflecting the afternoon sky like a mirror. For the first time in 11 years, I felt like I could breathe. The harassment started 3 days later. First, it was the phone calls. Unknown numbers at all hours, hanging up when I answered. Then came the social media posts. Roman's friends sharing family loyalty memes with pointed captions. Someone created a fake Facebook account using my photo and posted about being a greedy sister who steals from family. I was deleting the latest round of nasty comments when Sawyer called. "Have you seen the Neighborhood app?" she asked without preamble. "No. Why?" "Someone posted your address with a story about you stealing a family home from your disabled veteran brother." "Roman's not a veteran. He's never even been in the military." "I know that. You know that. But the internet doesn't care about facts." I pulled up the app on my phone. Sure enough, there was my address with a sob story about how I'd manipulated legal documents to steal from my hero brother who served our country. The comments were already piling up, people calling me a disgrace, threatening to teach me a lesson about family values. "This is insane," I muttered. "It gets worse. Someone threw eggs at your house last night. Mrs. Chen next door caught it on her security camera." I looked out my front window. Sure enough, dried egg residue streaked down my garage door. "I'm calling the police." "Already did. They're sending someone over." An hour later, Officer Martinez was back in my driveway, taking photos of the egg damage and reviewing Mrs. Chen's security footage. "Can you think of anyone who might be behind this harassment campaign?" he asked. Before I could answer, my phone rang. Mom's name flashed on the screen. "Skylar, we need to talk," she said when I answered. Her voice was different, shaky, desperate. "I'm kind of busy right now, Mom." "Please, I'm at the coffee shop on Main Street. Just give me 10 minutes. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her. Officer Martinez said he'd file a report and increase patrols in my neighborhood. I found Mom at a corner table, clutching a tissue and looking older than I'd ever seen her. Her perfect makeup was smudged, her hair less than perfectly styled. "Thank you for coming," she said as I sat down. "You have 10 minutes. "Skylar, this has gone too far. The whole family is falling apart. Your father isn't speaking to me. Roman's friends are posting horrible things online, and Patricia is telling everyone about—" She stopped abruptly. "About what?" "Nothing. It doesn't matter." "About the trust fund money you stole?" Her face went white. "She told you. She told me everything. How you've been embezzling from Grandma's trust for years. How the 2013 crisis wasn't just bad investments. It was you covering up your theft." Mom's hands shook as she reached for her coffee. "It wasn't stealing. It was family money. I was going to pay it back." "With what? Dad's cryptocurrency schemes?" "You don't understand the pressure I was under. Keeping up appearances, maintaining our lifestyle, making sure you kids had everything you needed." "Everything we needed?" "Mom, I've been supporting myself since I was 18. Roman's the only one who got everything handed to him." "That's not true." "Isn't it? When's the last time you asked how I was doing? When's the last time you celebrated one of my achievements? When's the last time you treated me like I mattered?" She was crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. "You've always mattered. You're my daughter. No, I'm your safety net, the responsible one who cleans up everyone else's messes while you focus on your golden child." "Skylar, please, I'm begging you, don't destroy our family over this." "I'm not destroying anything. I'm just done being invisible." I stood to leave, but she grabbed my arm. "If you go through with this, if you kick us out of the house, I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are." "What kind of person is that, Mom?" "The kind who abandons her family when they need her most." I pulled my arm free. The kind who finally learned to value herself. That evening, I was sorting through files at the lake house when I heard a car in the driveway. Through the window, I saw Roman getting out of his truck. Alone this time. I met him at the front door. "What do you want, Roman?" "I want to apologize. For today, for yesterday, for all of it." He looked exhausted. "Peyton made me realize how badly I've screwed this up." "Okay. Apology noted." "Sky, please. Can we just talk? Like we used to when we were kids." Against my better judgment, I let him in. We sat in the living room where we'd played board games as children, where we'd watched movies during summer storms. "I never knew," he said quietly. "About the money, about what you sacrificed. I swear to God I never knew." "Would it have changed anything if you did?" He was quiet for a long moment. "I don't know. Maybe." "I hope so. That's not good enough, Roman." "I know, but I'm trying to do better now. I told my friends to stop with the social media stuff. I reported the fake accounts." "What about the neighborhood app post?" His face flushed. "That wasn't me. But you know who did it." "Sky!" "Who was it, Roman?" "Mom. She was desperate. She thought if she could turn public opinion against you, you'd back down. I closed my eyes. Even now, even after everything, she was still trying to manipulate the situation. There's something else, Roman said. I found this in Mom's desk when I was helping Dad look for insurance papers. He handed me an envelope. Inside was a letter, handwritten in my grandmother's careful script. It was addressed to me, dated just a month before she died. My dearest Skylar, if you're reading this, then Trisha has finally been caught. I've known about the missing money for years, but I wanted to see if she'd come clean on her own. She never did. The house will need someone strong to protect it, someone who understands sacrifice. I know that person is you. All my love, Grandma. My hands were shaking. She knew. Grandma knew what Mom was doing. There's more. Roman pulled out a bank statement. This is from Grandma's account. She left you more money than anyone realized, enough to buy the house twice over. Mom's been hiding it. I stared at the numbers on the page. My inheritance wasn't just the small amount I'd thought. It was substantial, enough to change everything. Why are you showing me this? I asked. Because it's the right thing to do. And because I'm tired of being part of Mom's lies. Outside, gravel crunched in the driveway. Through the window I could see headlights approaching. Are you expecting someone? Roman asked. I wasn't. But as the car got closer, I recognized the silhouette behind the wheel. Mom had come to the lake house, and something told me this wasn't going to be a friendly visit. Mom's car door slammed with enough force to rattle the windows. Through the glass, I watched her march toward the house, her face twisted with rage. Dad emerged from the passenger side, moving slower, his shoulders slumped in defeat. She looks pissed, Roman muttered. The front door flew open without a knock. Mom stormed in like she owned the place, which was exactly the problem. How dare you turn my own son against me? She screamed, pointing at Roman. How dare you poison him with your lies? Mom, calm down, Roman said, standing up. Nobody poisoned me with anything. She showed you those papers, didn't she? Filled your head with nonsense about money and inheritance. Mom's eyes were wild, her carefully maintained composure completely shattered. It's all lies, Roman. She's manipulating you just like she's manipulated this entire situation. Dad finally spoke from the doorway. Trisha, that's enough. Don't you dare take her side, Stephen. Not now. I'm not taking anyone's side. I'm just tired of the lies. Dad's voice was quiet but firm. Patricia showed me the bank statements, Trisha. I know what you did. Mom's face went white. Stephen. $47,000. That's how much you stole from your mother's trust fund over the years. It wasn't stealing. It was family money. It was Skylar's inheritance. Money your mother specifically left for her. Dad looked at me with something that might have been shame. Money that could have prevented this whole mess if you'd just been honest. Honest! Mom laughed, but it came out shrill and desperate. You want to talk about honest? Let's talk about how your precious daughter has been holding this house over our heads for 11 years. Let's talk about how she's been playing God with our family, deciding who gets to use what and when. I never held anything over anyone's head, I said. I just paid the bills and kept my mouth shut. Because you wanted control. You wanted to be the hero, the savior, the one we all had to thank. If I wanted thanks, don't you think I would have told you what I was doing? Mom turned to Roman. Can't you see what she's doing? She's tearing our family apart because she's jealous. Jealous that you're getting married. Jealous that you're happy. Jealous that everyone loves you more than they love her. Roman's face hardened. Stop it, Mom. It's true. She's always been jealous of you, ever since you were born. She can't stand that you're the favorite. Maybe I'm the favorite because you made me the favorite. Roman's voice cracked. Maybe I got all the attention because you gave it to me while ignoring Sky completely. That's not... It is true. God, Mom, when's the last time you asked Sky about her job, her life, her dreams? When's the last time you celebrated anything she accomplished? Mom's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. I'll tell you when, Roman continued. Never. Because you were too busy making everything about me, and I was too selfish to notice. Roman, please. No, I'm done. Sky saved our house, maintained it for 11 years, and never asked for credit. And your response was to try to give it away to me like it was yours to give. He shook his head. I'm ashamed of us. All of us. Mom turned back to me, her desperation palpable. Skylar, please, I'm your mother. Doesn't that mean anything to you? It used to, I said quietly. But you've spent 34 years showing me exactly how much I mean to you. That's not fair. Fair. Mom, you just spent the last week trying to destroy my reputation online. You posted my address on neighborhood apps with lies about me stealing from a veteran. You've turned half the family against me with your victim act. I was protecting our family's reputation. You were protecting yourself, just like you always do. Dad stepped forward. Trisha, we need to go. Now. I'm not leaving until she agrees to be reasonable about this house. The house is mine, I said. Legally, financially, completely mine. There's nothing to negotiate. But we're family. Family doesn't steal from each other. Family doesn't lie and manipulate and throw each other under the bus when things get difficult. Mom's face crumpled. For a moment she looked genuinely broken. Skylar, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for everything. Please don't do this. Please don't kick us out. You have 27 days left, I said. I suggest you use them to pack. And if we don't? Then I'll have you removed. Mom stared at me like she was seeing a stranger. Maybe she was. The old Skylar would have caved by now, would have found some compromise that let everyone save face while she absorbed the cost. But the old Skylar was gone. Fine, Mom said, her voice turning cold. Keep your precious house, but don't expect to be welcome at family gatherings anymore. Don't expect Christmas cards or birthday calls. Don't expect anything from us ever again. I stopped expecting things from you years ago, Mom. She turned and walked toward the door, Dad following behind her. At the threshold, she paused. You'll regret this, Skylar. Someday you'll realize what you've thrown away. And it'll be too late, maybe. But at least I'll regret it with my dignity intact. After they left, Roman and I sat in silence for a long time. The house felt different somehow, lighter but also emptier. So what happens now? He asked finally. Now I change the locks. Tomorrow I start fresh. And us? What happens to us? I looked at my little brother. Really looked at him. For the first time in years, I saw genuine remorse in his eyes. That's up to you, Roman. But if you want a relationship with me, it has to be real. No more golden child act. No more taking me for granted. We start over as equals, or we don't start over at all. He nodded slowly. I'd like that. Starting over, I mean. Good. But first, you need to help me with something. What? I pulled out my phone and showed him the locksmith's number I'd already looked up. Help me change these locks. It's time to make this official. As we waited for the locksmith to arrive, I stood on the porch looking out at the lake. The water was still, reflecting the last light of sunset like a mirror. For the first time in 11 years, I felt like I was home. The locksmith finished installing the new deadbolt just as the sun disappeared behind the trees. Roman helped me test each lock, the metallic clicks echoing through the quiet evening air. "That's it then," he said, pocketing the old keys I'd given him to dispose of. "No going back now." "No going back?" I agreed. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "You think you've won, but this isn't over. Family always finds a way to get even." I showed it to Roman. His face darkened. "That's not from me," he said quickly. "I swear." "I know. It's probably one of Mom's flying monkeys." "What are you going to do?" "Nothing. Let them waste their energy on empty threats." I deleted the message. "I'm done giving power to people who don't deserve it." Roman's phone rang. Peyton's name appeared on the screen. "Hey, babe," he answered. "Yeah, we're just finishing up." "What? Are you serious?" His face went pale. "We'll be right there." He hung up and turned to me. "Mom's at Peyton's apartment. She's been there for 2 hours, crying on the doorstep, begging Peyton to convince me to come to my senses." "Jesus, Peyton's afraid to leave her there, but she doesn't know what to do. Mom keeps saying she's going to wait until I come home." I grabbed my keys. "Come on." "Where are we going?" "To end this." The drive to Peyton's apartment complex took 15 minutes. We found Mom's car parked crooked across 2 spaces, and Mom herself sitting on the concrete steps leading to Peyton's building. She looked up when she heard our footsteps, her face streaked with mascara. "Roman! Thank God! I knew you'd come." Peyton appeared in the doorway above us, looking exhausted and uncomfortable. "I'm so sorry," she called down. "I didn't know what else to do." "It's okay," I called back. "We'll handle this." Mom struggled to her feet, swaying slightly. "Roman, please, you have to listen to me. Your sister is destroying our family." "Mom, you're drunk," Roman said quietly. "I'm not drunk. I'm devastated. My own children are abandoning me." "We're not abandoning you. We're just not enabling you anymore." "Enabling?" Mom's voice rose. "I gave you everything. I sacrificed everything for this family." "What did you sacrifice, Mom?" I asked. "Because from where I'm standing, it looks like I'm the one who did all the sacrificing." "You don't understand. You've never understood what it's like to be responsible for everyone else's happiness. Actually, I understand that perfectly. I've been responsible for everyone else's happiness for 11 years. The difference is, I never made anyone else pay the price for it." Mom turned to Peyton, who was still standing in the doorway. "Peyton, please, you're going to be part of this family. Help me make them understand." Peyton came down the steps slowly. "Mrs. MacDonald, I think you should go home. Sleep this off. Maybe things will look different in the morning." "Things won't look different. She's taking away our home." "It was never your home," I said. "It was mine. I bought it, I maintained it, I protected it, and I'm done pretending otherwise." "But where will we go for holidays? Where will we make memories?" "You'll figure it out, the same way millions of other families do." Mom's face crumpled again. "I never meant for it to go this far. I wanted Roman to have something special, something that showed how much we love him. You could have shown him love without stealing from me," I said. "You could have been honest about the financial problems. You could have asked for help instead of just taking what you needed. Would you have helped? You'll never know, will you? Because you never asked. Roman stepped between us. Mom, this has to stop. The manipulation, the guilt trips, the attempts to turn everyone against each other. It's over. So you're choosing her over me. I'm choosing honesty over lies. I'm choosing accountability over blame. I'm choosing to be better than I've been. Mom looked between us, seeming to finally understand that her usual tactics weren't working. Fine, she said, her voice turning cold again. Keep your house, Skylar. Keep your victory. But don't come crying to me when you realize that being right isn't the same as being happy. She walked to her car, fumbling with her keys. Roman moved to stop her. Mom, you shouldn't drive. Let me call Dad to pick you up. Don't you dare call your father. He's already chosen sides. There are no sides, Mom. There's just the truth. She got in her car and drove away, leaving us standing in the parking lot. That was brutal, Peyton said, coming down to join us. It was necessary, I replied. Roman put his arm around Peyton. I'm sorry you got dragged into this. I'm not. I needed to see it. All of it. She looked at me. Skylar, I want you to know, whatever happens with the family, you'll always be welcome in our lives, in our home. Thank you. That means everything. My phone buzzed with a text from Sawyer. Saw the drama on social media. You okay? I typed back. Better than okay, free. Roman walked me to my car. So, what's next? Are you really going to sell the house? I'm thinking about it. Or maybe I'll keep it and rent it out to strangers, people who will appreciate it without taking it for granted. And us? The family. There is no us anymore, Roman. Not the way there used to be. But maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe we can build something better from scratch. He nodded. I'd like that. Good, but it starts with you taking responsibility for your part in all this. No more golden child act. No more letting Mom fight your battles. Deal. I drove home through empty streets, past houses where families were probably having normal dinners, normal conversations, normal problems. For the first time in my adult life, I felt like I could have that too. Normalcy without the constant undercurrent of resentment and obligation. At home, I poured myself a glass of wine and sat on my couch, looking at the lake house deed on my coffee table. Tomorrow, I'd start the process of listing it. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to, because it was my choice to make. My phone rang. Patricia's name appeared on the screen. How did it go? She asked. It's over. Really over this time. Good. You did the right thing, Skylar. It took courage. It took 11 years of being a doormat first. Better late than never. And for what it's worth, your grandmother would be proud. After we hung up, I walked out onto my back deck and looked up at the stars. The night was quiet except for the distant sound of waves lapping against the shore. I'd lost a family tonight, but I'd gained something more valuable, myself. And for the first time in 11 years, that felt like enough.